we put that together to create a pitch to do season 2, because we've been trying to figure out a way to do season 2. We didn't want to do it in the same way we did it before. But anyway, so My Last Days was...
Nothing good ever comes from pointing fingers. And right now, Justin Baldoni appears to be paying a heavy price, emotionally and professionally, as he's reportedly broken down in tears after Blake Lively hit him with yet another wave of public humiliation tied to their ongoing lawsuit. The situation has clearly taken a severe mental toll on Baldoni, leaving supporters deeply concerned as he's seen in an unusually vulnerable state. And this is only the beginning of the chaos. Alongside this unfolding drama, Chappell Roan is facing backlash for alleged hypocrisy following her Grammy acceptance speech after a smaller artist came forward with receipts accusing her of exploitation. While at the same time, the real reason Taylor Swift was booed at the Super Bowl is finally coming to light. The atmosphere feels like pure disorder, the kind that pulls you in completely. Baldoni's emotional state has reportedly deteriorated to the point where he's waking up around 4:30 a.m. with his heart racing and struggling with intense anxiety, a clear sign of how deeply this ordeal has affected him. This isn't casual celebrity gossip anymore, but a raw and deeply personal breakdown fueled by behind-the-scenes tension and devastating accusations. While the hostile relationship between Blake and Justin has been widely discussed, what hasn't been fully acknowledged is the profound impact the lawsuit has had on his mental health, particularly after Blake accused him of extremely serious allegations that could easily end a career. In fact, his talent agency reportedly dropped him just hours after the accusations went public, compounding the damage. Justin has since broken his silence in an interview, openly admitting the emotional and financial strain this experience has placed on both himself and his family, describing the past year as intensely stressful and exhausting. Though he never mentioned Blake by name, the implication was unmistakable. He also revealed how his tendency to overextend himself, fear confrontation, and constantly say yes has left him depleted, a pattern many recognize from past incidents where he bent over backward to meet extreme demands. His kindness, once considered a strength, now appears to have made him vulnerable, and the toll on his mental health has been undeniable. Even as he attempts to clear his name, the battle remains far from simple, with some continuing to side with Blake under the belief that such allegations wouldn't have been filed without substantial proof, leaving Baldoni fighting an uphill battle both publicly and privately. Others continue to staunchly support Justin Baldoni, insisting he's being unfairly dragged through a situation that has spiraled far beyond control, with the relentless court of public opinion only intensifying the chaos surrounding him. Amid this pressure, Justin has begun deeply reflecting on his past, openly admitting that he hasn't always been perfect and that, at times, he wore a mask, pretending to be someone he wasn't. He spoke candidly about past relationships, including one he described as emotionally abusive, and revealed that both relationships ended in cheating, experiences that have forced him to revisit painful chapters from his 20s that he's not proud of. The ordeal with Blake has pushed him to peel back layers he had long buried, all in an effort to show that while he has made mistakes, he maintains his innocence regarding the allegations against him. Regardless of whether people side with Justin or Blake, it's evident that Justin is struggling mentally, with his family's support appearing to be the only thing keeping him grounded as the legal battle drags on. Still far from any actual hearing date, while Justin remains trapped in exhausting legal fights. Another story is unfolding across the entertainment world as Chappell Roan experiences a very different kind of scrutiny. She had a major night at the 67th Grammy Awards, earning 6 nominations and winning Best New Artist, a career-defining achievement that should have been purely celebratory. Although her performance didn't please every critic, she owned the stage, but her victory was quickly complicated when past receipts resurfaced, casting a shadow over what should have been a carefree triumph. The contrast between Justin's emotional, financial, and reputational turmoil and Chappell's public success is striking, highlighting how fame magnifies both failure and victory under intense public judgment. Justin's breakdown and lawsuit underscore how devastating legal and personal battles can be, even for those who appear to have everything. While Chappell's Grammy moment serves as a reminder that recognition often comes with hidden costs, Justin's story, in particular, reflects the consequences of being overly accommodating and eager to please, traits once seen as strengths that have now become vulnerabilities, leaving him anxious, exhausted, and emotionally drained. Still, his honesty and transparency in a recent interview suggests resilience and a desire to regain control of his life. In short, the past few weeks have been a whirlwind of emotion, drama, and revelation for both Justin Baldoni and Chappell Roan, with one navigating legal strain and public backlash while the other balances industry praise with scrutiny. Chappell's Grammy win, chosen by the Recording Academy's 13,000 voting members, culminated in a powerful acceptance speech where she moved beyond simple thank yous and fulfilled a promise she made years ago, calling out the music industry as a billion-dollar machine that profits off artists while often failing to pay them enough to survive, ensuring that the entire industry was listening. This message wasn't just about Chappell herself, but about every up-and-coming artist struggling to survive while chasing their dreams. and her words carried weight because her journey has been anything but easy. She began uploading music to YouTube back in 2013, performing original songs around her hometown by 2014, and by 2015 she had signed with Atlantic Records, a major label that made everything feel like a dream come true as she released music, toured, and lived the pop star lifestyle. That dream, however, didn't last, because during the pandemic, Atlantic reportedly decided she wasn't profitable enough and dropped her without warning or support. Having signed so young, Chappell had no work experience outside music, couldn't find a job, couldn't afford health insurance, and was left completely on her own. Which is why her Grammy speech criticizing the industry wasn't dramatic but deeply personal. She emphasized that if labels truly cared about artists, they would provide livable wages and healthcare, even stating that if her label had prioritized her well-being, she could have received the care she needed after giving them 5 years of her life. The speech was raw, powerful, and resonated with struggling creatives everywhere, initially rallying public support back to her side despite past controversies, reinforcing her reputation as an activist willing to speak up on a career-defining stage. For a brief moment, she became the voice of underpaid artists exposing the industry's uncomfortable truths, until the internet did what it always does and the backlash came fast. A celebrity nail artist named Holly Good entered the conversation, calling Chappell out for alleged hypocrisy and posting receipts on Instagram, claiming that Chappell's team had once asked her to create nail sets for a tour on just 2 days' notice while offering no real payment, only exposure through Instagram tags. Holly shared emails suggesting the previous tour had been covered by major outlets like Vogue and Nylon, framing the opportunity as a chance for visibility rather than compensation. And while some questioned the legitimacy of the emails due to a misspelling of Chappell's name, others pointed out that the correct spelling appeared elsewhere, making it seem like a simple typo. Holly declined the offer, stating that exposure doesn't pay bills. And when she later watched Chappell deliver her fair wage speech at the Grammys, she felt compelled to speak out, sparking an online firestorm as many supported her stance that artists should practice what they preach. The controversy left people questioning whether Chappell herself was involved, whether her team acted independently, or whether it was something else entirely. But regardless, Chappell has remained silent and the situation hasn't aged well. Before the internet could even fully process that drama, attention shifted once again, this time to Taylor Swift, who was recently booed at the Super Bowl, igniting a wave of speculation as fans search for the real reason behind the crowd's sudden turn against one of pop's biggest stars. The truth is, this moment had nothing to do with football, wasn't random, and had nothing to do with Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce. Because what really happened runs much deeper. When Taylor was shown on the stadium screens, sitting next to Ice Spice, relaxed and enjoying the game, the crowd reaction was shocking, as loud, deliberate boos erupted instead of cheers, leaving her visibly shaken as she side-eyed the moment and realized the reaction was directed at her. This wasn't a one-off incident but part of a larger tension brewing behind the scenes, something most casual viewers wouldn't immediately recognize. Yet Taylor's reaction made it clear she understood exactly what was happening. Online speculation exploded almost instantly, with fans dissecting the moment and pointing out that the backlash had nothing to do with the game itself but was tied to deeper industry and cultural conflicts. From Chappell Ron's Grammy controversy to Taylor being booed at the Super Bowl, the past few weeks have revealed just how fast public perception can flip, as Chappell went from celebrated advocate to being accused of hypocrisy while Taylor went from pop icon to a public target. Both situations highlight how unforgiving fame can be, where even something as small as unpaid nail work or a stadium reaction can spark massive online debates and overshadow years of hard work. Eagles fans undeniably played a role, as the game was a rematch of the 2023 Super Bowl and Philly fans are famously intense, especially when it comes to the Chiefs and Taylor's unofficial queen status. Though that alone doesn't fully explain the level of hostility. Politics also factored in, as Taylor's past endorsements of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris angered many conservative fans. Attention Donald Trump himself amplified when he mocked her on Truth Social, reinforcing how politics and celebrity often collide on massive stages. Adding to that, some fans never let go of their resentment over Taylor turning down the 2024 Super Bowl halftime show, whether due to her Eras tour, location preferences, or the fact performers aren't paid. And for some, the booing may have been their way of expressing that frustration. As if that weren't enough, others have tied the backlash to Taylor's alleged association with the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni controversy, with critics accusing her of guilt by association as more evidence surfaced, further fueling the fire. In reality, the boos were a perfect storm of sports rivalry, political division, fan disappointment, and celebrity controversy all colliding in one moment. Though if history tells us anything, Taylor will shake it off and move forward. At the end of the day, Justin Baldoni continues to face relentless pressure, Chappell Ron's credibility has been questioned, and Taylor Swift's Super Bowl appearance turned into a headline-making mess, perfectly illustrating how chaotic and unforgiving the entertainment world